Welcome back to another episode of Through Our Lens, where I love to bring individuals on to talk about their perspective and how they came up, through their journey of like whatever respective like craft that they're into. And today I got the one, the only TISHA BRENEE, Celebrity Photographer on. Thank you for coming through.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited.
No problem. So first, so this is how I like to like start my podcast. A lot of people don't touch on it, but I like to talk about like mental health. So, what would you say since it's the new year, going into the new year? What would you say your mental health is from a 1 to 10?
My mental health from a 1 to 10. That's actually a really good question. Actually, I would say right now, it's the beginning, right? Mm-hmm. It's just starting. So I would say right now I'm at a solid 8.
Solid 8?
I'm at a solid 8.
I said that too. That's crazy because me and my homies, we always check in with each other, and I'm like, I think I'm an 8. I'm an 8.
Why do you say you're 8?
Thank you. You know what I'm saying? Okay, cool. Let's get into it. Why I'm an 8 is because I feel like we human, so we have these lapses, these dips, but I feel like I'm catching my not catching my rhythm. I feel like last year I was walking, and then this year I'm jogging. So I'm like, okay, now I'm about to start running. So I'm not there yet. So I'm an 8. You know what I'm saying? I would say like a strong 8 though. A strong 8. Like my mental is right. Like just got married last year.
Congratulations.
So I'm still kind of rolling off of that. So like a strong 8. But why would you say that you 8?
I think because I'm being extremely intentional.
Yeah.
And I know exactly what I want. So I'm clearing out certain things.
That part.
And making room for the better things.
That is good.
Yeah.
Because when you start decluttering,
yes,
it's the most uncomfortable thing because you're comfortable with what you have. But that goes for a lot of things. Like I think the hardest thing for me was just looking around me and noticing the friends that I did not need to have in my life anymore. And it's not about cutting people off. I don't believe in, burning bridges with anybody, because one day you might have to cross back over. But I was in church matter of fact, last Sunday, I go to one church, yeah. And
Torrey?
Yep, PT, yep. And one of the other assistant pastors, he was talking about a garden, right? And you know how like you need a seed, you need water, you need fertilizer. But he was talking about seeds can't hang around with seeds. He was like, that's the reason why seeds get scattered, because think about, I'm gonna break it down to you. So if we're both seeds, right, we talking about everything that we want to do, but we're not manifesting it because we're not in soil. So we have to be spread out. You know what I'm saying? We have to be separated at one point to grow. Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like I was that probably 2019. That was probably like my hardest year, because I was separated from all of my friends, like every single one. The only person that I had was Destiny. So like my wife. So I was just like, and it was the weirdest thing. Like I didn't receive any phone calls, but instead of feeling abandoned, I felt like, I said, you know what? Maybe this is the time for me to continue to get to know myself. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Love myself, love Destiny more. Just kind of like get into my own. But like I took that and I was like, dang, like seeds can't hang around with seeds.
That makes so much sense.
Because I like that. We talking about, like, that's just like us, say for instance, we just started off photography, and we talk about, man, we want to shoot this person, man, we want to shoot billboards, man, we want all of this stuff. But then 2 months from now, we talking about the same thing. Seeds are not growing around other seeds. Right. We got to be fertilized. Right. And with that, like how you said, taking people out, like how you said, taking things out so you can restore.
Just removing things so that other things can come in.
Right. So then when we get into that soil, now we get around individuals, meaning the soil, we get around other people that push us. So when if you think about it, when seeds are in soil, they are forced to grow now. So now we get around people that challenge us in a positive way. Absolutely. Constructive criticism, stuff like that. So yeah.
That part is tough though, because it's uncomfortable.
It's very uncomfortable.
You might not want to hear this constructive criticism.
It's like,
criticism
and sometimes it's like, I don't want to hear from you.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Like, not you. Anybody but you.
But you, like,
Yeah.
like let the homie tell, but you, like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? But it's, I think that's very important, man. Like, and that's good to hear, like, cause I try to motivate a lot of my friends, because one of my mentor told me, he was like, you need high, mids, and lows in your life. So, lows are not bad, but basically, say for instance, me or you are mids, but then we have a mentor, which is a high, because he's always, you know, some people got the right answer. You'd be like, dang, I can always call this person.
Yeah.
He would be like, they would be our high.
Right.
And then we would probably be a mid, but then we need lows that look at us as highs.
Right.
Because they need somebody to lean on. So I feel like, you know, like, a lot of us need that, you know what I'm saying, in a lot of ways, because sometimes we don't know, you know what I'm saying? And talking about mental health, it helps us a lot to lean on somebody, especially, like, I don't know if you ever felt this way, but, like, sometimes when we alone, we only can lean on ourselves sometimes.
Absolutely.
On our own understandings, and that stuff get tough.
It's tough.
I
already know. Of all my friends know this, my family knows this.
Yeah.
I'm the one I'm like the den mother. Everyone calls me. So when I need someone,
friend.
I'm the strong friend. So when I need someone, I don't know who I'm supposed to call on. So I've always been the person to lean on myself.
Ooh.
And sometimes it's tough because
about that.
everyone always assumes it's good. And it's
Yeah.
always, you're fine because I'm the most positive person. So I just told you, I'm starting off at an 8.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, because I have to make myself be that.
Facts.
I have to be positive for myself.
Where do you think that came from?
Uh,
Like, you being a strong friend, like, it had to come from somewhere. Like,
honestly, I don't even know. No one's ever asked me that, where it came from. I really don't know. I've always been a naturally positive person. So people feed from that, from me. So if someone's upset or sad or something's going on, they'll call me.
Yeah.
And that's just how I am naturally.
And you just wired. You like, okay, what's going on?
What's going on? Let me help you. How can
Yeah.
I help you?
Yeah.
So I don't really know where that comes from. It's
You
just
a people person.
Yeah, but I mean, I like my space. I like to be by myself.
Look.
I like to be, but I like to make sure everybody's okay.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not trying to do it on purpose, but I want to make sure everybody's good.
That's just
so
your
that
heart
makes
posture.
me, yeah.
That's good, man. Like, I remember I had to dial back from that. One of my friends, this was probably like a long time ago, and we was in the car one day, we was driving, and he was just like, hey man, let's all reflect. And I'm like, all right, bet. So then he was just like, it was just 3 of us. So he was just like, hey, so I guess he started with me. I was driving. He was just like, bro, he said, you know what, bro? You start becoming more selfish. He was like, and I was like, hold on, like, what you mean? And he was just like, and I'm like, I feel like I'm not, I feel like I'm not selfish. But he was like, nah, bro. Like, he was like, I feel like you've been more selfish with your time because I feel like you've been spread out so much because I'm that. You know what I'm saying? Like, anybody need to talk to me, I got you. I don't, sometimes I may not even have the right answer, but I'll just sit and listen. And it's like, hey, like, you know what I'm saying? Because I feel like that's what homies, that's what friends do. And sometimes that can drain you because, we talk about watering. We just talked about a garden, right? Like, we need to be watered too. You know what I'm saying? That stuff get tough at times. Like, I don't know why, but as of lately, my people meter, like how you said you need your space. Yeah. My people meter be like,
yes. It's slowly but surely just depleting.
But surely be like, oh my God. Yeah. And I don't, I'm not that person, but it be hard sometimes.
It is, because I feel like the way that the world is right now, you don't really know who to trust anyway. So it be your own friends. It be the people you thought were the closest to you, and then it's like, how can I want to be around people?
You know what I'm saying? It's like,
but I understand that. I get it. But I understand, like, me wanting to be still that people pleaser person.
But thank you for being honest though, because like for a long time I was trying to figure out like, what is this? But it's people pleasing. It's like, I don't know.
It's you just wanting to make sure everybody's good.
Everybody's straight.
Yeah. That's what it is.
That's crazy, bruh. So take me into like the journey of like Tisha wanting to finding her passion in photography.
So I started when I was like 12, 13. I know, why you look at me like that?
Jesus Christ, I started 2 years ago. Like,
I started a long time ago.
Oh.
I remember my mom having this little tiny camera. It was like a regular camera.
Polaroid? Like, not a
No,
Polaroid.
it was just like a regular digital camera for family photo, just regular. It wasn't an actual photography type of camera.
Yeah.
So I remember seeing her take photos of the family, and I'm like, oh, I want to see, like, what is this all about?
Yeah.
And she's like, no, it's definitely not a toy. Like, no.
Don't play with it.
No, don't play with it. And I'm like, okay,
play
well,
with
I
it,
just
don't
want to
play
play with it. You know,
Yeah.
I just want to see what this does. So I began to just fall in love with it
Yeah.
immediately. And I told my parents, I was like, okay, I want to be a photographer.
Yeah.
And they were like, okay, you just need to show us that you're being serious. Show us that you're serious, and we'll
Yeah.
get you a real camera. So by the time I got 15, they got me a real camera. And from there, it was a wrap.
So you said that you're not from here. So where you from?
Originally, I'm from Michigan, Flint, Michigan.
Word?
Yes.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I did I was on and this is my first time in Michigan. I was on a tour last year, and I met some people from Michigan. They was like working
Really?
at the event, and I'm chopping it up. It was like right before the event started, and I'm chopping it up with them.
Yeah.
And they like, where you from? I'm like, I'm from South Central LA. They like, oh, I thought you was from here the whole
I
time.
swear, when I met you, I thought you were from Michigan.
For real?
I was like, he's obviously from Detroit.
That's crazy because
gotta be.
I wear a D hat. That's crazy. But
yeah.
that's like, and it was just from me talking to them, I'm like, oh, y'all sound like y'all from the crib though. Like, so I don't know what the tie is between Michigan and here.
I don't know, but there's a similar energy.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I feel like I'm not gonna say y'all ain't got no accent, but like I feel like like cause when I was talking to, I'm like, they don't sound like, you know, when you go to Atlanta, people got a little you go, but y'all like they was sounding just like me. I said,
Yeah,
oh.
you sound like you're from Michigan.
For real?
That's why I thought you were. I was like, oh yeah, he's obvious. Let me ask. But you had already told me. I was like, what? He's from LA.
Oh, that's wild.
Where?
That's crazy, bro. I guess I got a little. I probably got family.
You
in
probably
the D.
from.
You feel me?
Yep.
But nah. So you said that you started at 15. So what was like give me like the. I would say the ebbs and flows, but like okay, boom, you started at 15. So take me through that journey once you took it. Well, once they knew that you was serious.
When they knew that so let me just take it back.
Okay.
My family is like full of creatives, right? So my whole family.
That's cool.
And I went through a journey before I decided I wanted to be a photographer.
Yeah.
So before I was like a hairstylist. So my parents were like, you want to be a hairstylist? Okay, let me get you a hair salon and mannequins, like all these things.
Oh, they was with it.
They were very serious.
Yeah.
My parents raised my siblings and I to really believe that you don't have to wait until you're an adult to be who you want to be.
That's good.
So they were like, okay, they realized they had creative kids. We weren't playing, like we played with toys. We had Barbies and PlayStations, but we were doing other things that the other kids weren't doing. So they took notice and they made us aware that we didn't have to wait.
Yeah.
So I was trying different things. I was like, okay, well, I'm a chef today. So they were like, okay.
Good.
And then they honed in on that. And then I'm a fashion designer. So they got me a sewing machine. So everything that I said I wanted to do, they were like, okay, let's try to make this real for you. So by the time I was 15, I was serious about that. But I was like, okay, they probably not gonna take me serious because I've been doing this for a while. But when they got me that camera, everything changed. Everything. I was like, wow, I really made this image from scratch. Like I thought of this and it came to life.
That is crazy because well, my little backstory. I don't have. You said 12.
Yes.
I don't have that story, but I remember when I moved with my mom. You know, the moms they force you to go to church. We had a camera, and I was working in the church, but that was as far as that went. Never touched the camera again, all the way up until I met her. But to kind of like fast forward, I remember the first time I took a photo, but it was exactly like how you said, from scratch.
Yeah.
That is what like made me never like put the camera back down. Like that's when everything changed.
That's when everything changes.
That's
because
crazy.
you realize you just made a piece of history. You just created something that was not here before you did it. So it blew my mind. It was like, did I just make this?
That's
like
crazy.
I thought of this.
That's crazy.
And I did it and it came out crazy. So my first photo that I ever took, I think I was 16 or 15. That was actually good. Like
Dang.
I had a bunch of photos that were just like not it, because I was just trying out stuff to see what worked. And the photo I thought of, this is messed up. So this is a crazy story. So I had a cup of water that had a spider in it. Right? This is crazy. Sorry, y'all.
I mean, oh yeah,
it had a spider in the water.
Yeah.
And I did something with it. I was like, you know what? Let me see what it would look like if I photographed it and it was ice. So I froze it. I know this is so messed up, but I
that's
froze
low-key
it.
Hard, though.
I just wanted to see what it would look like. So I froze it and took it out, and the spider was right in the middle of the ice. And I let it melt just a little bit to have the water on the ground.
Yeah.
And I was blown away with what I did at 15.
I want to see that.
I still have it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna send it to you.
That's crazy.
I still look at it and be like, I was not 15 doing that. Like, there's no way that I was coming up with these crazy ideas and executing them, you know? So that's what changed the game for me. It was like, okay, I can do literally whatever I want.
Yeah, for real.
And
for
that's what happened. It just changed my whole perspective.
That was
when I saw myself do it.
That is so dope just to even hear you get that creative. Like, bruh, a spider, she said, let me freeze it. Like,
yeah, I don't know what I was thinking.
That's crazy though. Like,
yeah.
I can just, I am in my head, I'm kind of thinking like, I wonder what that, I need to see it.
Yeah, you got to see it. It's crazy.
So, okay. So from just, just out there, you took it serious. You realized like how you said you took your first dope photo and you like, okay, boom, I'm on to something.
Yeah.
So fast forward, you say you was 15, right? Mm-hmm. So let's say, okay, talk about your first journey when you had your first client.
I didn't get my first client until I was probably like, you mean like a paid client?
Like a
like an official client?
No, like you shooting somebody, like you shooting something. Like you shooting.
Okay, yeah. So like I said, my siblings were all creatives.
Oh, yeah, so you
right?
would shoot them.
So I would shoot them.
Oh, that makes sense. Okay.
It was easy. My sister wanted to be a model.
Oh.
Perfect. Like, let's work together.
It's over
right?
with.
So I was taking her first photo. She was my first model. My brother, he's an actor, singer, so I'm taking his pictures. The photos weren't good. Like when I look back, they just were out of pocket. Yeah. But I was doing it.
Yeah.
I was getting some sort of experience.
Yeah.
And so were they. So we were all able to do it together.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah.
So it was easy when you probably was shooting other people then.
No, I was terrified.
Oh.
I was absolutely terrified because they were my siblings. So it's easy for me to work with them. Yeah. Like, I don't care if they like it or not.
She said,
like,
come outside, come on.
Yeah. Like, I don't care. You're going to do what I want you to do. But when it was time to work with other people, I got to do what they want me to do. And if I don't get it right, you know what I mean? Like, it was scary.
That's it right
but
there.
I didn't get to that for a while.
Oh,
for
okay.
a long time. Like, when I first started, like I said, when I took it serious, I was 15. Mm-hmm. So around that time, there was like no social media. There was like MySpace. There was like Model Mayhem and like stuff like that. So I didn't really have anywhere to show my work. Yeah. So I wasn't getting clients.
That's true.
You know what I mean? Like,
dang,
nobody was booking me. They didn't know that I could do it. And then during that time, I had a bunch of people in my ear telling me that photography is not a job. It's a hobby. It's some side gig type of thing. You can't make money, so figure out something else to do. So from 15, right? Shout out to y'all. So from like 15 to 19, I didn't make money. Like, I was just doing it because I liked doing it, and I didn't know how to make money from it. No one told me anything. I didn't have a mentor or anyone who did it that could show me how to do it. So I didn't. I was like, all right, like, fine. At this point, everybody's about to go to college. Like, you need to figure out what you're going to do because that's not a job. Yeah. So I initially quit for a bit.
Oh, dang.
Yeah.
Did it break you down because like it was your passion?
Yeah, it was my passion. It was what I wanted to do, and people didn't believe in me. They literally said it's not a job. It's like I said, I've come from a creative family where all of us are entrepreneurs. Yeah. And I had been told many times by multiple people, your entire family is crazy. Like, y'all can't be serious. Y'all gotta all get a job.
Shout out to y'all.
Shout out to everybody.
Yeah, to be honest, man, do you know, that's so crazy because, like, for me, it's the total opposite. My mom, worker. Like job, and I remember it had to be probably like around, it was 2018. Okay, I met Destiny, so it was 2018 when I played football. Mm-hmm. So this time I had dislocated my shoulder, and athletes, we come back.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, rehab, get back out there. So I was rehabbing, but this rehab was different. Like I was rehabbing my shoulder, and I just had too much time because I knew, I'm like, if I have too much time to myself with my own thoughts, I'm gonna start thinking about like, what am I doing? You know what I'm saying? So I was sitting on that table, and they was giving me like electric stim, and I was like, I had talked to a few coaches, and I'm like, how old are y'all? And it was like 40. And I'm like, how do y'all feel when y'all wake up? And it was like, or get out the bed. He was like, man, it's hard. Like, my body got to warm up. Then I got to get out the bed.
Wow.
And I said, and my coach had just turned 40. So I'm like, okay. And I'm sitting on the little table in the little training room. And I'm like, okay, I'm in here for my shoulder. I already messed up my knee in high school. And I'm in college. So I'm like, okay, what's next? My head, you know what I'm saying? CT, you know, all that stuff. All of these things was going through my brain. And it was so hard to walk away from that because like I always played sports all my life. Well, half of my life. I always like was doing something active, but I sat down, I thought about it, then I met her. And then here she come, this girl. Destiny come, she working. I think she was working at Panda, but she always was doing photography as a hobby. And she had she had just bought the 6D, but she had a Rebel T6, and I'm like, can I use that? Like, I just want to, you know, it look intriguing, like, you know what I'm saying? And I remember I used to do stuff when I was a kid, but I picked that joint up, and I'm like, it was like I picked up some gold, like, you know, when, like in the movies, I was like, oh, I said, we about to do YouTube.
Yeah.
So we started doing that, and then like slowly but surely I started branching off from football. But I went through a little slump.
Yeah.
But I'm like, it was so crazy because I'm telling you all that just to tell you. So when I presented it to my mom, because the reason why I didn't let go football, because she was like, oh, you gonna make it, like you about to buy me a house, we up, you know what I'm saying? She was like, we up.
Right.
But when she seen me like, all that dedication that I put in football, when she see me start doing something different, it was foreign. So she was just like, okay, you got to get a job. You know, I'm like, all right, bet. You know, I get a job, whatever, boom, working at AutoZone. And I'm still shooting off the T6, and I start going on sets. But for free, me and her was just, she had a mentor. We going. Then I presented it to her. I'm like, hey, Mom, I'm not going, I'm not doing this no more. Like, I'm not working no more. Like, I'm gonna do this. Like, I'm gonna do photography. When I tell you she blew up, she said,
I already know.
And mind you, like when you talk about like other people was telling your family this, it was so crazy to see my mom so serious about what she was telling me. Like, no, you gonna work 40 hours a week. Whoa. I'm
really?
like, bro, when I tell you, I was like,
that sucks.
It was crazy because I looked at her and I was like, no, I'm not. Like, and it took me a lot. It took me so much to like not be disrespectful because I was like this is my life. Yeah. You feel me? Like, I want to do something different. Right. And she was hammering me. And then next thing you know, so that was like 2019, 2020. This was right before the pandemic hit. I got an opportunity through her mentor to shoot the NAACP awards.
Oh, okay, dope.
When I tell you, so mind you, I'm down there shooting. I'm shooting for, I forgot, she's probably like she up there. I forgot her name. I'm shooting for her, boom. But she stands next to Rihanna. And I'm like, I know I got to get that. So I'm like, boom. But I don't know that. I know people in the seats sitting down, they recorded me. So next thing you know, I guess one of the homegirls recorded me. She was there, and then somebody else was taking pictures. You know how stuff go viral.
For sure.
My sister, we was on the red carpet. My sister called my mom, was like, you know Darnell on the red carpet? She like, what you talking about? Like, he just left the house talking about he about to go do some photography stuff. And then she look on TV, and there I am. She like, I come home. She like, oh, you really taking this? You really taking this stuff serious now? I said, yeah, I told you, but I was so focused. I didn't even give her no explanation. I said, I told you what I was doing, but you know, I said I got to keep showing her. So boom, we started just shooting, and then that's when she started. No, and then you know, she want to know where the money at. So she like, you know, you got to do that for like where. And I'm like, right now, I'm doing it for free. I need to learn the like. I didn't come in the game talking about, oh, I'm charging this, I'm charging. Right. I said I want to learn it from scratch. Right. And I think that's what helped me. But when I tell you, like, it hurt me for my mom to tell me like that. Of course. Like, it came from her. Like, I'm like, what, bro?
It's because a lot of people don't know the logistics of what we do. Yeah. So you're going to assume that it's a little Like, you're not gonna make no money.
It's like,
from it.
what
like,
are you talking about?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
this is not something that people do and go viral with, or not go viral. I say viral. That's my favorite word. But like, this ain't something that you do and make a living.
Right.
I quit my job in 2020, not because of the pandemic, but the pandemic, we didn't know what it was.
Right.
But it was like probably February, and I didn't quit my job. My boss sent me home, so I ain't gonna
You got
cap.
fired.
He didn't send me. I didn't get fired, but he sent me home.
And
Because
he
I was trying to
come back.
Because I seen the news, and I'm like, I'm wiping everything down. You feel me? Because I'm like, I don't know what's going on, but we got some little Clorox wipes. Let me wipe this down. He was tripping on me. He was like a micromanager though.
Yeah.
And he sent me home, and I was like, I'm about to go get my jacket. I'm out of here. So I get in my car, and I'm driving down Normandy, and I'm like, and it was crazy because it was like, oh yeah, you're not going back.
Yeah.
And I knew once I went home, and I get to go back to my bed.
Yeah.
Going back home, and now I was like, now I got a game plan though.
Yeah.
Because now I ain't got no check coming in 2 weeks.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, now I gotta like, the ball start rolling. But once you talk about, shout out to the people, because like we don't have this is our job. You know what I'm saying?
Job.
Like, so it's like we put everything in this thing. But I wanted to ask you, like, when did you know it was like, oh, I'm here? I know you said like, 15, you was like, okay, I'm onto something, but like, when did you know like, oh, I'm in this, like, far as this industry?
Oh, like when I feel like I'm not going nowhere else.
Yeah, like, yeah, this is.
I felt like there was a lot of highs and lows right before the pandemic for me. Mm-hmm. So I was able to capitalize during the pandemic because everyone was on their phones. Like, nobody was doing anything but on their phones.
You're right about that.
So I started creating passion projects. I started making work that people weren't coming to me for.
Yeah.
There's always going to be like things that I want to do but people aren't hitting me up for.
You're right.
Because they don't know I can do it.
Yeah,
so I started making it up. So I'm calling my homegirls, calling whoever I can get to come. I don't got nothing to pay you, but if you can pull up and you see the vision that I see, we can create something together. Let's work together, and we all can be up from this. Yeah. So I was doing it nonstop, and I started getting noticed, and people were like, "Whoa, your work is crazy. Yeah, stuff is going viral. It's everywhere." So I'm like, okay, I think I'm in here now. I think I'm in here. I'm getting interviewed. Like, people are just like, okay, your work is fire. Yeah. So I couldn't stop. Yeah. It was the ball was already rolling. So I decided I'm not going anywhere. I mean, I feel like God decided for me anyway. Oh yeah. God decided for me back in the day.
Yeah, he laid them, you know what I'm saying?
He already decided.
Yeah.
And there was a couple moments that was like, I didn't believe in myself to do it because, like I told you, there was so many times where I kind of listened to those people that told me you can't make money. Facts. Because I didn't have a mentor or anyone to tell me how to do it or how to get it. Yeah. And when the jobs would come in, it would be far and few in between. It wasn't like consistent. So I'm like, okay, I got to get a job. Yeah. But every time I got a job, I got fired. So not because I wasn't a good worker. It was employee of the month.
You feel me?
I was always great.
That's crazy.
But I was always going to go take a gig or go take these little jobs. So you calling off? I'm calling off.
Facts.
And I'm getting fired.
Yep.
It was like 2 different jobs that I had, and they told me, if you don't come, you're going to get fired. Done. Yeah. And I was like, well, I'm out of here. See you guys later, because I got to do this. This is what my calling is. I can't be here. Yeah. I'm not going to help you guys build this. I got to be great.
I want to touch on that because it's crazy. Like, besides my last job, I think I stayed on that job a year. I'm probably like a little past a year. Every job that I got, I used to get fired. And I used to be like, bro, I'm doing good. Like, I done had good. Bro, like, I was working at Wingstop one time. Yeah. I had some jobs. Yeah. And I'm like, bro, I'm getting employee of the month. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. I'm forcing myself to like this thing.
Yes.
And it's crazy because I remember the last job that I had was AutoZone. And I remember walking the first day I got hired. This is sad, but the first day I got hired, I'm talking about, I did the little boop, 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 and then I'm signed in. Yeah. I said, oh, I can't be here. I said, it's something else. Like,
you literally said that?
I swear to God.
And you didn't go?
No. I didn't quit I didn't leave that same day, but the day I got hired, like, it was like the walls was closing in. I was walking around the store. I'm like, I'm like, oh, it's got to be something else for me. Like I said, this ain't it. And it would be like every time, and it was like I would force myself to work, go to work. Force myself to like, not saying be friends with the coworkers, but it was just like they was okay with this.
Exactly.
And I just was like, you know what I'm saying? It was just crazy. Like, and I remember one time, my manager's boss walked in, and he was like looking for not models, but they was doing a commercial for AutoZone. He's looking around, he was like, who's this guy? And he was like, oh, that's Darnell. He was like, hey, and he walked up to me, he was like, hey man, I want you to be in our commercial.
Yeah.
And I took that as like, oh, something creative. Like I know it was something. Yeah. And I was also doing photography at the, but I was like, see, I knew this ain't it. Like I knew, I felt like God was like giving me like kind of like bits and pieces, like, bro, here, you know what I'm saying? Like reassurance, like, here you go. Like, this ain't it. Like, this is what you like. I feel like every feeling that we have is for a reason.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? But it's just crazy, like, to hear that another person went through the same thing.
Absolutely.
Like, that's crazy. Now I don't feel alone, bro. Because I used to be ashamed to be like, man, I got fired after
I
every
don't
job.
care. I don't. I was fired. Y'all fired me. It's fine. It's cool, though. I knew I wasn't supposed to be there.
Like, what in the world,
What am I doing?
Like,
I was just doing it because I needed a check. I needed to get money. And photography wasn't paying me.
And that's crazy because I feel like it was just like what you said, like anytime something came up, I was going. Anytime something came up, they're like, oh, Darnell, like even the manager, he was just like, cause I wouldn't even be afraid I'm like, yeah, I do photography. He was like, I mean, but how much does that make though? And I'm like, how much you make? Cause I'm looking at her mentor, and I'm like, bro, only working probably 4 hours, and he, come on, the numbers is different. Yeah. So I'm like, come on, buddy, like, and I wasn't even on him like that, but I was just like, you work 10 hours a week. I mean, you work 10 hours a day. Yeah. And that's like 50 hours, something like that. I'm like, bro, okay, you work that, and I don't know what your check look like, but my man's just worked for a day. And it ain't even about that. Like, my man's just creating. Yep. He's having fun. He's not dreading coming in. You know what I'm saying? Yep. I'm like, I want that. I don't want this. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I just felt like having a job, it was just like was deteriorating me, like my mental, like my body, like y'all, when y'all walked in, y'all was talking about working out. Like, I wasn't even working out. Like, it was just like my life was just kind of all over the place, man. But I'm happy that I made that decision, because I it's like once I linked on God, I feel like God was like, that's all I wanted you to do.
That's all. 'Cause you're right. You just need to make a decision to do it.
That's what it is.
Because you're deciding to get up and work these jobs you don't want to. You know what I mean? You're making that decision. Yeah. When you could also make the decision to take yourself that serious. Yeah. And just go after it and lean on God, like you said. Yeah. And it's gonna fall into place.
It's so crazy, like betting on yourself. Like, that's, I used to always hear people like, man, bet on yourself. Like, like, stop, putting so much stuff. Like, and then obviously, like, people putting it in my ears, like, you working for somebody else's company. You feel me? Like, build your own, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, okay. And I was always a person that listened, you know what I'm saying? And be watchful. I would always sit back, listen, watch. And once I like found the courage to like do that, because like how we said, we found comfort in working, because like I said, my mom was like, oh no, this is how the money, this is how we get, this is how we pay the rent, this is how you do this is how you do it. And when I finally did something else, I just took it and ran with it. And like my family, they always be they be amazed. They be like, Darnell, like, how? Right. What is going on? And
like, I'm how did you do that?
Honestly, and it's crazy, because when I look back, I don't know how, but like how you said, God already had these things.
The steps are planned and it's in alignment. You don't need to try to figure that out.
Steps was already ordered.
I figured out that I don't need to figure out what God is trying to do for me.
And that's hard though.
Already done.
Because when you come from like having to figure it out, and then saying, okay, I don't have no control, God, you got this, it'd be hard.
I think that's what we already are like as creatives. We're already trying to be in control of every type of situation.
Jesus Christ.
Because we want it to go a certain way. Yeah. But we can't do that with God. Nuh-uh. We can't. He's going to have control over everything. Facts. I know how I am. I know, like, as a creative, I want to have this go this way. I need this model to do this. I need this like that. But I don't have control over these steps. They're going to go how they're going to go. Yep. And like you said, it's tough to just be like, all right, let me just let this go how it's going to go.
You know what I'm saying?
You don't have no choice but to do it. You have no choice.
So, it's crazy. It's so crazy. So tell me, like, did you ever And I know I'm going back and going forward,
Yeah.
but like, tell me, where you are like seated right now? Well, I would say 15 years ago, but like when you were 15, when you first took it serious, did you ever think that it would look like this?
No, absolutely not. You wouldn't be able to tell me, the 15-year-old version of me, that this is what your life would look like, specifically because people said it's not going to work. And I didn't have anyone else as an example to me.
That's crazy.
I had to do it all by myself. I had to teach myself photography, teach myself how to edit, teach myself everything.
Ooh.
I didn't know anything.
I just taught myself how to edit?
Yeah, I just taught myself everything. So, of course,
Yeah.
if everyone in your ear, but your family, is
Yeah.
telling you, you need to get, like, this is not real. Like,
Yeah.
you have to know that you have to have a plan. You actually need a plan A because
Yeah.
this is not it.
Yeah.
So no, I wouldn't have thought. I always knew I could do it, but I didn't
Yeah.
know it was gonna look like this.
That's crazy.
Not at all.
That's a blessing, bro.
Absolutely, to like grow up, like watching some of your favorite people on TV, and then you're right there
That's
with
crazy.
them.
Yeah.
Is insane.
I think it's crazy that you said that, because me coming up is opposite, because like Destiny, I view her as like the photographer. Like, she know like when she in spaces, like she know what she gotta know. Like, okay, that's that person. Boom. I be walking. I don't be knowing nobody. Because I wasn't a big. I wasn't. I was outside.
Yeah.
Like when I say I'm from South Central, like I'm really
You from
like,
South.
no, like for real,
From
like,
outside.
like for
Right.
real. And I wasn't really into it. Like I didn't really care for it, I would say, like back then. So like when I be walking past these people, or when I'm working around these, I don't be knowing who they are.
Yeah.
And I think that's low key, that's my superpower, because
I think that's great.
Yeah.
That's awesome when you don't know.
When you don't know, because then you treat them regular.
Yes.
You treat them, you treat them like a human being, and when you create, I feel like at the same time you start, like, they start taking a liking to you, because they like, man, this dude different. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
you're giving your most genuine self.
You know what I'm saying?
You're not about to be fake or be weird because of who they are. You're going to be normal because you don't even know who they are.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? And obviously now, it's like, I be telling myself, like, you know what, Darnell, you have to, it's pros and cons to that, because it's like, Darnell, you have to start knowing who these people are, so then you can kind of recognize and whatever, like know their favorite color, know all this type of stuff, so then you can kind of like set vibes or whatever. But yeah, man, like, that's crazy though, like, just to kind of hear that, because I didn't ever think that I would ever be in this position. That's why I asked you that, because I'm like, I would never think that I would be or me and Destiny be in this position that we are. Like, it's a total blessing to be where we are.
It is, from coming up with creative ideas from nothing, and then end up where you are. What kind of anointing? Like, that's amazing.
It's a blessing. It's man.
A blessing.
And it's, what's crazy? I just felt this right now. Everybody this season, because this season is based off like career and creativity. Every single individual that I have thought about, and I'm talking about, like, y'all have been coming to my head from scratch. Every single person has been like, you guys are like good, genuine people. Like, I've been feeling that. I'm talking about everybody that's been coming on this season. I'm like, why is every episode like good to me? Like, it's like, if nobody ever watched this, like, to me it's good. I will watch this.
That's what you've been called to do, though.
You know what I'm saying?
God wanted you to do that.
It's crazy. It's crazy, man. So I would say, like, from like within you elevating, do you see yourself changing, like, in a good way, in a bad way, and also like taking it back, because I didn't know you started that early, so it's like from 15 or whatever, so like, because we change, we change, we're not the same individuals that we were, but I'm all about being transparent, being open. Like, do you within your elevation, was it a lot of times where you had to kind of like check yourself, like, hey, this ain't you, like, you know what I'm saying, as you on your way up?
I feel like that's a tough one. That's a loaded question, actually.
Okay, sorry about that.
No. It's like, it's just, I feel like it's a lot that comes with that question.
Okay.
As far as like changing, you mean like good or bad? Like,
yes. So okay, let's start with good. Like, what are the positive changes that you have made, or like you just have evolved into on, like, far as like within your elevation throughout your career, or
I think the biggest change, the best change that I've had, which was a tough change for me, was to stretch myself beyond what I normally do.
Okay.
and I didn't know what that was going to look like.
Yeah.
Like literally in the camera. Like I didn't know what. I've been challenged so many times to do things that, like I said, I taught myself. So I didn't really know the logistics.
Yeah.
Anyway, I went to college for 1 year for it and I quit because I didn't.
Photography?
Yeah. I didn't want to do that. I had already knew it. You know what I mean? I just didn't know the technical terms of what this meant and that meant.
Yeah.
But I feel like.
Did you think that helped you though on your process? Like do you think you took something out of the school? Like out of
a couple things, but not really. To be honest, like I didn't really like schooling for photography because, like I said, I had been doing it for so long. By the time I got there, it was like I already know this stuff. Like, no, I'll write down the notes of what this means and I'm out. Like, that's it. But I eventually went to film school. But back to what I was saying, I feel like the positive things are learning to stretch beyond what I normally do. Like working with certain people, they want you to do certain things. And it's like, can I do that? Or can't I don't want to say that I can't do something. So I have to figure it out. I have to learn it and make it make sense.
And that's crazy because like once you say like basically you're not capable of doing something, it's somebody that can do that.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Plus more. And it's like, dang.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I've taken jobs and said I could do stuff I never did.
Oh God.
100%.
I'm talking about, I remember, I forgot when it was, but somebody was like, oh, can you do that? I said, yeah.
Yeah.
I said, yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm talking about researching like I said, oh yeah. So how do you shoot this? Like, let me put this in there. I'm like, bro, I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah. But if you're okay with that stretch, you're going to learn it
on everything.
And I think that's the most positive thing for me that I've done this far as elevating, because if I didn't do that stretch, if I didn't, just decide like, okay, this is okay. Just figure it out, learn it. I wouldn't be where I am. I truly believe that because I've always been a creature of habit as far as creating. I like to stay with what I know how to do because I feel like I've become an expert at those things.
Yeah.
But when it's time to go beyond that, I'm terrified because I don't want to mess up and I don't want to fail. But it's like, it's either that or don't do it at all.
Or stay stagnant.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
And I don't want to do that. I want to elevate, so I'm down to stretch.
Yep, most definitely. I feel like what I tell myself all the time is just remain a student. I tell myself that every time. I'm like, remain a student. Remain a student. So then, you just always will learn. You'll always learn something, even if it's difficult. Like I remember, what did I shoot? Because now people be asking me to do video, and I was doing video, and I'm like, bro, I don't know how to do this stuff. Like, and it's I don't, but it, like they, and I messed up. I messed up. I had this I did the recording was fine, but like I told him I could edit.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah,
you can't
boy.
Edit.
And
or you can't edit now.
It's hard. So,
but you do it.
Bro, it's hard. I said I could do it. And I'm like, I can't do this. So I started like, I know editors. So I was like, all right, boom. So I just sent it to an editor. But it was just like I think the time, what I messed up on was just return time. And I was like, dang, bro. Like, and I told them, you know what I'm saying? But I had to shoot it. And then they return time was different. So I'm like, okay, now I got to, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it stretched me though. Because now, like, even though I'm like, I do photography, I don't do video, but like how you say, it goes back to like when people, hey, you do photography, right? Do you do video too? And it's like when you say you don't, they gonna just, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but you gotta be okay with that.
Yeah, no, that too.
That's where I've learned to be like, okay, you can't wear every hat.
Nope.
You can't.
Yep.
There's a job for everybody.
Yep.
And that's when you bring your team.
That's when you bring your team. And that's why I'm glad that I know so many videographers because I don't do video. Nah, man, like the thing is I can record my ass off. Like I just do the same thing that I do with photography. I'm just on the move. Like like I said, I went on tour. I was on tour doing video. Yeah. And when I send it to their editors and I seen how they did, I said, "Oh, that look nice." Yeah. So I did my stuff. You know what I'm saying? But it's real tough. But like how you say, you just got to continue to stretch yourself. Like
you got to stretch.
I can't tell my a long time ago they used to always say, "Don't tell yourself what you can't do." You know what I'm saying? So I just continue to work, and then when you know you can't do this, put somebody else
Put somebody else on. Give somebody else another opportunity.
You know what I'm saying? Don't be out here wilding.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Out here just, I could do this, I could do that, and be messing up everything.
Like you said, you did it and you messed up, or whatever the case may be. I have done the same thing, and it's like, why would I do that? At this point now, if someone asks me, do I know how to do this, this, and that?
Exactly.
I have somebody for you. I don't, but I have somebody for you.
And I think that's most important. I think Destiny had a situation where somebody did that for her. They was like, hey, I do video, I do not do photography, and I know that I'm not going to be able to capitalize, or not capitalize, but I know that I won't be able to fulfill what these clients want, but I know your work and I'm passing it to you. And I feel like that's the most important thing. Like how you said, that's how we honestly build the community.
Absolutely.
Within this photography. Like, that's the reason why I stopped, and I'm like, man, like everybody that I met, or everybody that has been coming on, has been so genuine. Like, it's because it's a flip side too. It's a lot of photographers that I have met. I ain't gonna say their name, but I have met, and it's been like, dang, they not willing to pass that on.
They're not. That's a whole nother conversation.
But when I tell you,
they're not gonna help.
And I've been okay with that, because it's just like, look, I get it. You know what I'm saying? It's like taking food off other, people's plates, and they like, hey, it's only space for me in here. You know what I'm saying?
That's a wild perspective.
It is. And
that's sad.
That's something that I was like, you know what? That's something that they dealing with.
Yeah.
And at first, because being new to this thing, like, I'm only 3.5 years with taking it serious, like, far as like working with people, doing all this stuff. But me, like, wet behind my ears, I was bringing the streets into this. I was like, what you mean? Like, I took that so personal. Like, hold on, like, you weird. Like, but I had to bag up. And I was like, you know what? Everybody is dealing with something. Yeah. So it helped me have more grace on these individuals, instead of wanting to, like, when I see them, frown my face up, or like, hey, bro, like, you weird. Don't talk to me. Right. You can't, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, like, I just feel like, passing it on, passing it forward. And that's how we build this community. That's how we can always have friendships, and just because you're not afraid. It's so much money out here to be made.
That's how I feel about it. It's so much money.
So much money out here.
And aside from the money, there's opportunity that goes around and around. It's not necessary to gatekeep. Yeah. I feel like.
No, it's not.
Because even if you give me the information that I'm asking for, or if I give you the information, you're not going to stop me from being lit. No. So I'll give you the information. Yep. I'll give you what I've had. So many people reach out to me and ask me for, just tips on whatever, or lenses to use, or equipment. And I'll gladly give that to you. Yep. I feel like a person who doesn't is someone who's not very confident in what they do. Yeah. Because you think I'm a threat to you.
Yeah. And that's what it is.
That's really all it is.
I had an individual say that to me. Yeah. It was like, bro, we do the same, like, we do the same thing, but we, like, actually shoot the same stuff. Yeah. We can't. And I was like, oh, all right, cool. But what I did was, I appreciate them actually saying that to me. Yeah. Because some people won't say that, you. But I said, okay, cool. Yeah. All right, I see. I'm glad that you said that. You know what I'm saying? But I got another one for you, man. Like, what are some of the struggles that you face being in this industry, being a woman?
Oh my God.
Like, I know it's a list of them.
Oh my God, that sucks.
It's to help these young women out here that want to jump off this porch and be in this field. You know what I'm saying? So
I think as a woman, you just need to stay focused and really hone in on your craft, and not take everything so personal. Okay. Just don't take it so personal. I know it sucks, like, pulling up to set and you get there. These are experiences I've had. Yeah. Pulling up to set and they assume I'm the model and they don't take me serious. Oh, dang. Or it's a group of other creatives, directors, and I'm the only woman. And they don't take me serious until you see what I can do. So that sucks already out the gate, that I have to prove something to you before you take me serious off the rip. But when, when the men come in, hey, what do you do? It's, I've had a list of things happen just because I'm a woman. Yeah. And then you see what I can do and now you take me serious. Mm-hmm. It sucks. But I don't really have a formula to that. The only thing you can do is stay focused and get to the bag. There's really nothing you can do. It's going to happen in every arena, especially a male-dominated industry. It's going to keep happening. And
that's another thing that I learned. Like I said, like, I think we was talking about this before we even turned on the cameras, but, like, just seeing y'all in y'all element, like, it's a lot of times that I step to the side. Like I step to the side so I purposely won't be in the way. Like I admire y'all doing y'all thing. Y'all are to me, obviously y'all smarter than us, but like y'all are so bright. Like with the things that y'all come up with and the things that y'all shoot. Like when this girl be shooting, I'm said this girl, but this is my wife, y'all. Destiny had a shoot for something, and mind you, she was shooting people. She had went to the bar, and she had seen a Ciroc bottle with a glass, well, like, you know, with a glass with a little, I think it was like a little lemon with a little stick in it, whatever. This girl took that, set it by like a window and shot it. I'm gonna show it to you after we done. And I said, I'm on tour. I said, Destiny, bro, they Ciroc gotta hire you. Like,
wow.
Mind you, it wasn't set up.
Yeah.
The stuff that y'all come up with, I sit to the back. Like when Destiny, when Destiny working, I look and I be looking. Oh, you got it.
Yeah,
Go handle your business.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But it's crazy, like, especially with it, like I said, I'm new to this, so now I know that it's all male driven. That's why I understand the way when some women walk in, they walk in like, watch out. And I'm like, okay, I get it. You know what I'm saying? And then obviously once we start chopping it up, people start respecting each other. And then it's like, oh, okay, cool. Like we all good. Ain't nobody trying to, belittle nobody. We green. But
it's tough though. Yeah. It's tough though, because that doesn't always happen where the man steps aside and that doesn't happen. It's been too many times where it's like, y'all not about to take me serious until you just see what I can do.
And that's the crazy part, because that's when it bleeds into us like being like our skin color. Cause I'm not no woman, but like I remember stepping into a place and I'm bringing my equipment. First of all, they probably, they don't think when I pop up, they don't think that I'm bringing stuff. Mm-hmm. They think, okay, oh yeah, boom. So then I set up, they like, okay, he got equipment, boom. I pull out my camera, they like, and obviously people are gear people. Mm-hmm. So they're like, what he shooting with? Oh, he's shooting with this. Oh, right. Okay, cool. All right, so let's see what the photo's gonna look like. And then like how you said, once they see, because they judging you all the way up until they see you perform.
Until you see the performance,
and then they like,
exactly.
Oh, yeah, so let's connect and I'm like, all right, cool, bro. You know what I'm saying? But I knew y'all temperature when I walked in this door.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So like I said, I can't attest to everything that you're saying, but I can attest to that little piece. It's tough.
It's tough because like you just said, you kind of already know the temperature. As a woman, I got to know that's going to be the temperature every time.
And that's
every time.
Ooh, like
it sucks.
You know what I'm saying? And especially like I'm at fault at that. It was just recently on Sunday. I walked in, the lady, I was walking with the models. We was going into the studio, and it was a lady walking behind us, and they was like, is she with us? And I'm like, I don't know, because like, we wasn't talking to each other. I just was talking to the people I knew, but she was like kind of like a block behind us. So we went upstairs, and she ended up catching up to us, and then she ended up like going to the same studio that we was in. So when she walked up to me, she was like, hey, how's your name? I mean, what's your name? And I'm like, I gave her my name, and I was, and like I said, I'm guilty for that, because I was like, makeup artist? She was like, no. I was like, stylist? She was like, no. She was like, creative director. I said, oh, bet.
Right.
I'm like, oh, bet. And I had to like let her know, like, hey, my bad. You know what I'm saying? Because it's so like, it's a lot of black women that are, creative makeup artists, stylists, and I love them being in those positions as well. Mm-hmm. But to be a creative director, I was like, oh, this is good. And instead of like being surprised, I'm like, I ain't surprised, because I know now we working together. Right. We about to create. Right. I told her, like, I was like, oh, we about to kill this shit. Right. And you know what I'm saying? And from there, it was so amazing that day on Sunday. I'm like, we need more of this.
But that's the rare thing to hear that part, because it's not usually commendable at first. Yeah. Like, no one is checking for you at first.
Nobody checking. Like, I was like, I felt bad, because I was like, dang, like, I'm over here thinking I know what she do. You know what I'm saying? But I ain't see her with no makeup bag. I ain't see her with, she literally came with herself and was like, okay, I got this vision. Let's get it.
That's me all the time. I do creative direction also. So when I show up to set without anything, but like just the idea, and I get there and they're like, okay, so wardrobe is over there, so you can go get your makeup done over here. And I'm like, who? Who finna get their makeup done? No, not me. I'm about to run the show, so you get in line.
You good over there?
Right.
Let me handle what I need to handle.
That I understand, but I feel like as a woman, the formula that I follow is just showing up and doing my best, and you will get the recognition.
Most definitely, man. And I think even talking about recognition, like I tell myself every time, and I try not to. For me, I'll be like, don't be so spiritual, don't be so spiritual. But what I do is before every shoot, I'm like, God, you be the photographer. You step into this place, so I don't. So I wanna capitalize on my opportunity, but like I don't want to be, because in this industry that we in, we can be seeking that, like we can be seeking it, and I'm like, you know what, the recognition will come.
Yes.
Just keep working.
Yes.
Just keep working. So what would you say was a piece of advice that it sounds like I know you probably gonna say your family, but what was a piece of advice that somebody told you that has you in this position right now? Like, what was something that somebody said or?
I think you almost you talk about my family.
Yeah.
My parents, like, they always instilled in me to not to wait to be great. Do it now. Just do it right now.
You said
like
that.
You don't have to wait for anybody. You don't have to wait on anything. And I feel like that has been the reason why I never waited.
Yeah.
I'm not going to wait for opportunities to fall in my lap. I'm not going to wait. I'm going to create it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'll be waiting forever.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's good. So, okay. So what would you tell a person, and that's your camera right there. What would you tell a young entrepreneur? What would you tell a young entrepreneur that's coming in, woman, male? What advice would you give them? Outside of your parents, you know what I'm saying? But what would you tell them like
I would say that you don't need permission. You don't need permission. You don't have to ask anybody.
Yeah.
If it's okay to just do what you do. You don't need to wait on anything. Everything is all laid out for you. If you really believe that you can do something, you can do it. If you can see it in your mind, you can hold it in your hand. You can have whatever you want. You just have to actually believe it and go do it. Nothing is just going to appear. Nothing's just going to just happen on its own. I know that we all like to believe that good things come to those who wait, but you can't always wait. Because if I just sit here all day and assume something is going to happen, that it doesn't happen like that. You have to put in the work. You got to put in the hours. You got to be willing to spend your last dollar to be great. So that's what I would say.
Hey, man, that's a wrap. Like, I thank you for that, man. Once again, I want to say I thank you for coming on. I thank you for spending your time, because that's the most important thing that we have on this earth is our time. Yes. So I appreciate you for gifting us with those gems, and giving us a glimpse of like your life.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you for being great.
Where can they find you?
You can find me on Instagram. I am TISHA BRENEE with 2 H's.
Got you, man. Yeah. So tap in with her. She's phenomenal. And stay tuned. Make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe. And so, stay tuned to another episode. Peace.